This week we are getting ready for turkey trots. It's that time of year again, which means that Christmas music is playing in the stores and your race directors have forgotten to order bibs. So we will talk through kind of a soup to nuts turkey trot setups. If this is something that maybe you don't do a lot of races in until this time of year, or you're just trying to refresh yourself and your staff on what's new and cool, this is the place to do it. It is going to be a very long and very involved presentation. So buckle up. We have Matt Avery and James and Shelly Harris on the back end answering your questions. If this is your first time using GoToMeeting or it's just been a minute, feel free to use that question button in the panel. There's also a closed caption option there if you'd like to turn that on. So we will be monitoring those. If there is time at the end, we will have some Q&A. And do remember that we will give you a recording of this webinar as well as these slides. So without further ado, here we go. So today's agenda, we're going to kind of talk through the entire life cycle of a turkey trot. So this means registration, timer dashboard updates, the check-in app, RaceJoy, mobile timing, photos, results, and other check-in functions. So one other thing that I want to make sure that everybody has here, and if you look at the slides for these, both of these images can be clicked on to go out to the blogs. The first is the 2024 Turkey Trot breaks records again. This is last year's numbers. I'll have this up in a couple different areas, which can be helpful for you sharing with your race directors or just to be aware of in terms of adoption of certain features. And then the early numbers, I'm not highlighting anything in there because it's already, 5 or 6 days out of date, and that's rapidly changing. But it is worth looking at to see what those trends look like. So just a couple resources for you there. So let's start with the registration part of things. So in 2024, we had 1.1 million Turkey Trot participants across 936 races on Thanksgiving Day. And that's 322 races with over 1,000 participants. As you can see from the stats, that has grown quite a bit between 2023 and 2024. That means there's that much more that you need to be prepared for. And especially if you have multiple crews in multiple sites covering multiple turkey trots, it's a lot to prep for. And race day is not for finishing your prep if you didn't get to it beforehand. Race day is for solving the problems, because maybe you have 10 turkey trots, but you really only have like 8 crews that regularly go out. You've got a couple people that you might need to be supporting more. So having all of this stuff in line, all the more important. So on-site registration, packet pickups and on-site registration, it's likely the first time your athletes are having FaceTime with you. Being organized and prepared is really important. As you know, with turkey trots, this is really the one time a year that a lot of these people participate in races. So this is your chance, or at least the organizers you're supporting's chance, to create a new customer for races throughout the year. So test out all your technology in advance. Know whether or not you have internet connections on site. Make sure your computers are updated if you haven't timed any races in a couple weeks. Make sure that you have appropriate power sources. Make sure that you're sure about all of these things. Never hurts to send out another email just confirming these things if it is something that is outside of your kind of normal travel radius. And then again, set expectations in advance. If you do this, and clearly state whether or not you're accepting on-site registrations. If you are accepting on-site registrations, making sure that you have registration periods open on RunSignup. If you're taking online registrations, consider maybe doing kiosk only, and make sure that your volunteers and staff are trained on whatever route you take here. Most events do hold on-site registration during packet pickup. However, RunSignup on-site registration page can be used as a station as well after being turned on. Some events have stations set up at stores or sponsor locations. leading up to the race as well. So just know how to set these up. There are multiple types of on-site registrations setups that can help keep lines to a minimum. The best and easiest, though, is still just having QR codes posted around the race site and the packet pickup area where people can register on their own phones. That's always preferred. Regularly promoting price increase intervals, that's another good way to kind of mitigate the amount of on-site rush that you get at these races. So to set up on-site registration, first, like I was saying with QR codes, we make it really easy for you by creating these QR codes already. So just go to promotion and links, and then if you scroll down, there's a sign up QR code. You can right click on that and download it as an image and put that into your posters or signage around the site. Another option is setting up on-site registration. On-site registration can be enabled. Yeah, I'll just search for on-site registration, but this can be set up and require a password on the computer to be used for this. Think of this as the option to use for your computers if you have dedicated registration stations there. You can also set up a cash payment password. You should not advertise this. This is definitely something that you want your staff using to confirm and complete the transaction, confirming that they have received the check or the cash payment. And just keep in mind that you don't want this to all end up public, because then people could theoretically use this to register without paying. Some best practices: turn on-site registration well in advance and test it out. The big key for today, and really most of the things that we talk about on Timer Tip Tuesdays, is test it out. But register yourself and demo this process to the volunteers who will manage it. Set the home page on any devices using the on-site registration to that link. So if someone accidentally closes out of that window, you can reopen it. Write down your on-site registration password and cache password. And again, in big red letters here, remember this, don't make this the same as your RunSignup password. Print out those QR codes for regular registration around the packet pickup area so that folks with smartphones can register. And just make sure you have as many avenues to registration open as possible to accommodate as many different situations as you can. If you are going to have limited or no internet access on site, plan to cut off registration before you download the participant list for the last time to make sure that you have everyone in your scoring software. And then if you do have to use printed out copies of an online registration form, just know how you're getting that data into your scoring software, whether that's the quick add mode in RaceDay scoring or a Google Sheet somewhere. Just have that process really dialed in. A couple things that you can do to streamline RunSignup registration and to improve kind of your numbers in general. Offer referral tracking. It's really easy to do. You can go turn on referral tracking like you see in the GIF there. Easy as turning it on. It's actually, in the last year or so, become even easier than these GIFs show. As far as turning these on and refund rewards, this is now actually part of the setup wizard. It's the last step here, and it's on by default because these are good things to do and they can help you grow races. Keeping in mind that just turning something on doesn't mean that it's going to get a lot of usage. You do have to promote things for people to start using them. But again, like, there is no harm, no foul in just clicking this to turn it on. Some other stuff that you can do to streamline and should be doing well ahead of time, using the email marketing features on the RunSignup platform. We give you a lot of pre-built templates, and those are great just out of the box. One of the most useful features in these is the QR code ability. As you'll see in a little bit when we talk about the check-in app, having QR codes in an email for people makes looking them up that much easier. I think the number that we got it down to was if you're using the camera for check-in and you have a QR code in the participant's email and a QR code on the bib, you can be checking participants in 6 seconds each. If you have a larger turkey trot, you saw those numbers, you know, over 300 of them were over 1,000 people. If you have a larger turkey trot and a small window to get everybody through packet pickup, that 6 seconds is going to mean a lot to you and to your customers. So to add that QR code, you can just select that item there, just going back, that add content item, QR code in the lower left. And then you can choose what that QR code goes to. In this case, the placeholder that you probably want to be using here is the registration ID QR code. And that QR code is basically that participant's registration ID. If you scan that in the check-in app, it looks up that participant and goes right to them. If you have 20 John Smiths, it'll go to the John Smith that has that QR code there. So this is kind of a good example of what that packet pickup email can look like. Keep it simple, keep the QR code at the top, and you know, schedule send it in RunSignup to go out the day before packet pickup. That way people aren't having to go look for their original registration email. They may have registered days, months, weeks, who knows, ago, but having it right at the top of their inbox really does make a difference in terms of streamlining some of this. If you go to create an email, go over to the pre-built emails and select pre-race. We give you a lot of different options there that have some of this stuff built out, so you don't have to spend the time doing that. Again, you know, there's some anticipation that a lot of you are timing multiple turkey trots. Streamlining your giveaway inventories. This is pretty important. This is a time of year that can be rather swag based. So utilizing the giveaway inventory tool in RunSignup helps streamline the packet pickup and manage the athlete's expectations in advance of arriving on site. It's easy to use. You don't need to cut off giveaway selections if you're doing something like this, and it does integrate with the RaceDay check-in app. The big key to this, if you're doing something where you know you're going to run out of shirts or where you even might run out of shirts, have an option for no shirt. If you run out of every other option, or if you run out of mediums, everyone's either going to have to select a large or a small then potentially, and that can affect your count there versus them being okay with not getting a shirt. So make sure that you're not kind of shooting yourself in the foot by not having that no shirt option. So to do that, go to Race, Giveaway Add-ons, Giveaway Inventory, and add a no shirt option to all open events. And this way you can provide a live breakdown of how many and of what size shirts are available. Important note on this, changes made in the check-in app will override the inventory amounts there, but transferring people, not necessarily. So some other nice updates here as we're preparing our general workflow and we're leading up to the race. We have made a lot of really cool updates to the timer dashboard. The development team has been doing lots of really good work here, and giving this timer dashboard the ability to be like this high-level reporting across multiple races without you having to kind of bop around in different spots. If you're wondering where to get here, just go to your profile, my timer account, and then go to dashboard. But some of the things that you can see on here, raw read counts. This is if you're using RaceDay scoring, of course. But you can see the raw read counts, the unknown participant counts, total participants in progress, the first and last expected and actual finisher time per scored event, the status of race backups. So whether or not you have a backup created and sent over to those teams, might be worth just going down that list. If you got multiple turkey trots, this is a great way to see how they're all doing. And one other thing that's especially useful for this season and will be expected prior to Thanksgiving is the status of the check-in app, whether or not that check-in app is set up yet, whether it's set up and in the future, or whether it's good to go. If you're a lead timer or a company owner, pardon me, this is a great way to just look at things, see how they're going, see if you need to check in with a site, see if you need to check in with a specific race or a specific timer and see, hey, I see you have a lot of unknowns. Is everything going okay over there? Or, oh, this race doesn't have their check-in app set up yet. That's going to be really important because we're doing dynamic bib assignment. So timer dashboard updates are just like a huge part of this high-level workflow here. And that does kind of lead us into race day check-in for both participants and volunteers. So the stat here is that last year, this is 2024 data, 54% of turkey trots used the race day check-in app, and 66% of turkey trot participants were checked in using the app. So it's down a little in terms of number or percentage of races from 2023, but up a significant amount in terms of number of participants checked in, if you look down there below. But that is over 700,000 participants checked in using the check-in app in a single morning. And that's races of any size. There's no size that is wrong for using the check-in app. If you're saying, well, we don't use dynamic assignment, well, that's okay. You can still use the check-in app, and it's still very useful to see what those stats look like, to see how many people pick up the day of, to see if maybe your packet pickup is being overrun if you don't have enough check-in stations set up for this, and if that would maybe make for a smoother race day morning. If you're doing dynamic, it's the option. It's the best thing you can be doing for that race. And then if you're doing something in between, if you're doing something hybrid in terms of pre-assigned and dynamic, still use it. It's the best way to make sure that you have the best data as a timer. Why use the RaceDay check-in app? It expedites the check-in process. It dynamically synchronizes with other data points. So if you assign a bib number in the RaceDay check-in app, it's assigned at RunSignup. If you're using RaceDay scoring, it's right there in the software for you already. If you're using other scoring softwares, it is very easily pulled in there. And it means that you're really working with a single set of data there. It also provides insights to race organizers. Again, if you look down there below, over 700,000 participants checked in a single morning is huge. That number alone gets a lot of people to just say yes to using this, and it's free. So this is available for Apple and Android phones and tablets in the App Store there. Now, this slide is really, really important. If you take nothing else away from what I've been saying this morning or afternoon about the check-in app, it's this. You must enable the check-in app and RunSignup before you can use it. So go to RaceDay Tools, RaceDay Check-in, mobile app. There's two things you need to do here. The first is setting a shared password. You should make sure that that password hint matches the shared password. People will only see that hint if they have the level of access required to log into the back end of RunSignup and see it. Do not make this your RunSignup password though. And the second thing you need to do is you need to have that check-in window enabled. If you're looking to test things, make sure that it's enabled prior to the day you're going to test it. And as far as when to disable check-in, I would say at least 30 minutes after the start of your latest event in your race. Just make sure that you don't have to accommodate someone showing up very late who comes in there, needs a bib assigned, and oops, your check-in window is closed. You have to go in and edit that. You have to do this, you have to do that. And it turns into a text message that is lost. So check these things. If nothing else, make sure these are set up. If you renew a race in RunSignup, the check-in, enable check-in and disable check-in date ranges, they don't change. So you do need to make sure that you touch this area or that your race directors are updating this. Some key settings in the check-in app. Make sure that you're enabling require bib if you're doing dynamic assignment. Auto show camera on bib assignment is a really good way to speed things up if you have QR codes on those bibs. Just another reminder, if you're starting to get things lined up and you haven't checked in with your race directors, make sure that they are ordering bibs with QR codes on it. It is a great way to speed things up. Make sure that giveaway is being displayed. consider allowing uncheck-ins, prevent duplicate bibs, and then set up bib validation. There are additional settings like waivers and event transfers that might depend on the specifics of your event. If you want to do a little bit deeper dive on this, we do have some really good resources on RunSignup. This is maybe the 5th webinar on the check-in app I've done this year, so there's a lot of those up there for you. There's also a really good video on our YouTube that Kevin Lai did about how to use the check-in app as a volunteer. Another thing that's relatively recent in the check-in app is the ability to check in multiple people at once using related registrations. You can select same transaction or same team if that's applicable. When we say same transaction, though, do keep in mind that those are tied to a credit card transaction. If they registered for free with a coupon or something like that, they wouldn't be tied to anything. But if you're doing this with dynamic bib assignment, do remember to write the names on the back of the bib when handing out multiple bibs at once. Generally, it's a good practice at Turkey Trots to always write at least the first name on the back of the bib, or have that on the bib there somewhere if you're doing dynamic assignment. Because this is a time of year where people are almost always participating with family and friends. So don't let them get their bibs swapped and end up answering a bunch of emails after Thanksgiving dinner. So another really good addition that you can be looking at with Turkey Trots is RaceJoy. These are the 2024 Thanksgiving stats. We had 32 RaceJoy partners providing RaceJoy across 57 events. That was over 7,000 GPS phones tracked, over 51,000 progress timing alerts, and almost 20,000 cheers delivered there. Turkey Trots are a really good option with RaceJoy, especially if your Turkey Trot has a virtual component. But this allows participants to be tracked remotely by spectators through their phones. And keep in mind, we do have the bib tracking option as well now. You can create custom Thanksgiving themed audio experiences to play at certain mile points or certain points on the course. And this might be a really fun way to make sure that people who are at home getting ready for company can see how things are doing, or know if you are going to be very late for Thanksgiving dinner. There are two types of tracking, just a reminder. There's bib chip tracking, which is going to come from the timing hardware, and there's GPS tracking, which is continually tracking via the participant carrying their phone. If you are going to do the bib and chip tracking, you do need to use RaceDay scoring. You can be scoring your race in other software, but you do need to use RaceDay scoring as middleware. It's also worth mentioning here that if you have a race with multiple splits on the course, we do offer predictive pace tracking for the bib chip only participants. If you're going to offer predictive tracking, there's some requirements. You need to have enough splits on the course. You need to have successfully done this tracking, the bib tracking a couple times, and you do need to reach out to us, RaceJoy at RunSignup.com, to get predictive pace turned on. So just a note there. The RFID bib and chip notifications and predictive pace map tracking, this is direct streaming of timing data from RaceDay scoring to RaceJoy users. This means that people don't need to be carrying their phone to have alerts sent out from RaceJoy. The number of alerts issued depends on the amount of timing equipment you put out on the course, and you can just make a much easier experience for people there who maybe it's a super cold day and they're not gonna have their phone on them. They're gonna leave it in the car, or they're just looking to go out and run, and they still want people to be able to track them. This is a really good option here. This is all tied together as part of the RaceDay real-time experience there. And just again, there's that note that timers do not have to score in RaceDay scoring to offer these alerts. You just need to use it as a middleware there. This isn't an either or. If you're already doing GPS tracking, you can do this in addition to it. there as well. Why is that a benefit for the timer? It can be an additional revenue source. This is extra work that you're doing. It's extra service that you're doing there. It is free for timers for limited events. It's included in the purchase of the RaceDay Suite license, but the race must be using RunSignup's registration. Otherwise, the price is $750. One thing that's important to be aware of here is if you are going to offer RaceJoy, you do need to be certified. This is the one certification that we do require to offer a service. So if you're thinking of doing this for Thanksgiving, please reach out to info@racejoy.com and get the free certification course on demand. It's a video and a quiz, and just make sure that you get RaceJoy certified prior to Thanksgiving. We do also ask that you turn this on at least about 10 days in advance. A couple additional features for using RaceJoy. Spectators can send Thanksgiving cheers. There's progress updates every mile if they're using the GPS tracking. We have off-course alerts for on-site events. And then this is all integrated with the RunSignup results platform. So if people are doing a virtual event with RaceJoy, you can have your results automatically submitted to the RunSignup platform. This also allows you to use a central monitoring and communication system for timers and race directors, so you can just have a window up and see kind of what everything's looking like out on the course. It is a really nice option to see how things are going. It can always be helpful to have your sag wagon tracked, so you know where the last participant is and when it's time to break down. That can be kind of difficult to do on Thanksgiving Day without features like this. So the monitoring system, it does display the live tracking participants. You can put it on a large screen on the site, and you can see everybody on there as a blue dot. You can also have access to the number of participants who've crossed certain milestones. So you know where your leaders are, you know where your trail vehicle is if you're tracking those as well. You can also send supportive audio messages from the race director to active participants, both virtual or on-site there, and you can customize those alerts as well. So here's an example of the monitoring. The monitoring does provide both chip and GPS data, and it also has easily determined ETA for leaders there. So we've kind of talked now about pre-race with registration, with setting up the check-in app. We talked a little bit about the check-in app, and now we started talking about RaceJoy during the event. And let's talk a little bit about what happens once people finish. Let's talk about RunSignup results. So in 2024, 23% of turkey trots sent notifications. That's text or SMS, and email notifications. 550,000 notifications were sent out on Thanksgiving. As you can see below there, that number has gone up significantly from 2023 there. So results can be pushed up live to RunSignup, whether you're using RaceDay scoring or other scoring software. If you do have the result notifications activated, RunSignup will send text and email notifications to athletes of their results or to people tracking them of their results. To make sure that this is turned on, you can go to RaceDay Tools, Results, Set up Results, Notifications, and Links. If you have people who've already registered before you turn this on, you can just send a notification or an email out to all those folks saying, hey, if you want to go back in and sign up for this, go right ahead. So some of the perks of having results on RunSignup, if you click on an individual result, you can see a lot of information like this, detailed results for viewing and sharing. We also have, if you're using our photo platform, more on that in a minute, you have the photos linked directly to their results page, which is now even more effective with the mobile timing integration that we're going to talk about. And you can build custom finisher certificates here that can be viewed as well. There's a lot going on there. We just in the last two slides, just to reiterate, that's text and email notifications, certificates, photos, social sharing, all right there from the RunSignup result page. So those photos, let's talk about those real quick. In 2024, 16% of races uploaded photos on Thanksgiving. So over 100,000 photos were uploaded on Thanksgiving Day last year. I would expect that number to go way up this year with the advent of mobile timing photos. Why should you offer photos? Happier participants create repeat participants. It's a great word of mouth tool. This is also a really good way of making sure that you're getting your race's logo shared on social media, and as part of that, participants kind of post-race experience. It also helps, you know, create new participants from people who are seeing these shared. You know, as we mentioned at the start of this, turkey trots are often the only race that some people run each year. And again, like giving them such a positive post-race experience is a part of how you turn that into a year-round audience. Photos are shareable assets that help bring participants back. They can be printed, maybe less so these days, but shared certainly. And you know, you can ensure that you have your logo or your sponsor's logo as part of this using the RunSignup photos. They're downloadable and easy to share on Facebook. And you know, you can add that watermark as a branding opportunity. So how to do this? Again, go to your dashboard, go to Photos, Photo Setup, and then you want to set up some options in here. We do have some more in-depth webinars on these pieces as well. So if you go search for someone, you can see their photos come into the result link like this. You notice that if you click on those photos, though, that there is a watermark in the bottom right-hand corner here, which is a really nice branding opportunity. So you should be setting that up. We'll talk a little bit more about that in this part here, which is the introduction to mobile timing photos. This is its own entire webinar somewhere off there in the ether, but we're going to just do a quick introduction here. If you're not aware of this, the mobile timing app, which is another free app in the Android, Google, and Apple app stores, is something that you can use to take photos that are directly uploaded to RunSignup's photo platform. This is a fully integrated solution that allows volunteers and staff to take photos and have them automatically uploaded there. You can do this one of two ways, either standalone photo capture mode or photo capture while taking in backup times. Both are usable options there. So to use the standalone photo capture mode in the mobile timing app, you'd import the race from RunSignup. It's very similar to the workflow in the check-in app with the addition of a login, OAuth login. You select photo capture. You can either create an album from the mobile timing app or select an existing one if this has been set up on the RunSignup side already, and then take photos. These are automatically uploaded to RunSignup's photo platform and tagged based on the bib number, and then subsequently linked to the results there. You can either do this over Wi-Fi only if you're worried about data for the device, or you could just have it using the device's cellular data. So real quick, importing the race from RunSignup, select backup timing. This is for the backup mode. And then select what events you want to include in the bib entry grid if you're going to use that. Go to settings in the top right and enable photos. You can again create an album or select an existing one. And then in this mode, in the backup mode, photos are taken whenever you either tap in a bib number or enter a bib number. And same as with the photo only mode. These are automatically uploaded to RunSignup's photo platform and tagged with the bib numbers. We aren't keeping these photos on your device. That's also important to understand here, that these photos, as soon as they're uploaded, are no longer on your device. We're not going to be taking up that storage space there. If you are going to have people taking photos, you do want to make sure that you set up photo access. So users who are going to be taking photos must have access to photos to find the race on the import step, whether that's timers, race directors, or just photo only access. So you can go to secure access and info sharing, set up the dashboard page access to be photos, and then add the access. Photos must be checked for users who are doing this. And that user must be logged into the RunSignup account that was given this access level for them to be able to import this. Again, this is what the import step looks like. Very familiar. And then again, select that photo capture. In the photo mode, just a quick overview of this. Settings are found in the gear menu. The count and that little green circle there indicates how many photos have been taken. That's green if they've all been uploaded. Yellow means some are not uploaded, and red means there are photos waiting to be uploaded. And the minimum and the number pending is not changed for more than 15 minutes. So if you have no internet connection, and then you can tap on that number to see how many have been taken and how many have been uploaded. You can turn the flash on off. You can flip the camera. It's not really recommended. Generally, the rear camera on your phone is going to be much higher quality and much easier to use. And then there's a manual capture button in the middle there, or use a Bluetooth clicker. And then there's a home button as well. There's some more settings in here, including the login info and device name, which photo album you are uploading to, aspect ratio, image quality, and image compression. So those have some bearing on what those pictures will look like ultimately. Whether or not you're uploading photos on Wi-Fi only, so if you're a little bit concerned about device data, and we also give you an estimated data usage if that is something where you're kind of trying to evaluate. And one of the new things that we have is the photo auto capture. This does require you to start the photo auto capture, but you can determine how often and how long photos will be captured. And we also give you an estimated data usage there. So that's a really great way. Like if you have a little tripod that you can set up at the finish line and say it's a 5K, you can say, hey, I'm going to take a picture every second for an hour. And then once that first finisher starts coming in, start the auto capture and just let it go. And then congrats, you have photos tagging for your participants on the result page. A couple best practices here. Always set at least one watermark. Test your framing. You can set up a test album and delete it and the photos in it once you have the framing and the logo size correct. If your logo is too big, if the default logo for the race is too big, you can actually kind of work around that by setting up a hidden sponsor. So go to sponsors, manage, and hide a sponsor that is just a smaller logo, or maybe even an alternate logo for your race. A couple best practices for the bib side of things. Make sure that the numbers are easily visible. 4-digit bib ranges are best for the photo tagging here. Having good kerning helps. It's just the space between characters. And then if you're pulling in photos, if you need to use that for some reason, there is the format for that URL below. So after, if you're deploying a lot of devices for race day check-in for turkey trots, you can actually extend their usefulness here. A couple other options for using the check-in app after bib assignment or check-in would be using it as a results kiosk. So you can go to My Device Settings, Lookup Method, and Kiosk Mode, or we actually have a default result configuration that you can switch to. This is only going to work, based on bib numbers, but you can search via bib number, and it will pull up that person's result information. So that's the kiosk there. As you can see, it brings that up, and it brings up their time and place. And again, if we're using RunSignup results, this means that we're kind of all operating on the same database, all on the same set of participants, and this makes it really easy to deploy things like this. So if you have 4 tablets out at a site, consider suggesting a result kiosk post-race. So it's a little bit more information on how to do that. So again, you can change the mode there. Another option for using the kiosk or the check-in app outside of just the bib assignment and check-in mode would be using it as in a medical tent. We have the option to check people in and out of a medical tent, and organizers can then see, how long someone was in that tent. Do keep in mind that we don't want to have any HIPAA violations here, but it is a great option to see, like, oh, so and so did get checked in, but they've been released from the medical tent. So in review, real quick, set up your RaceDay registration, test your registration, set up your on-site options. So make sure that you're ready to deploy that and that you have ways for people to register on site if that is the route you're going. Make sure that you know if you have internet and power, and double check that setup and situation. Make sure that your RaceDay check-in app is enabled. Make sure that it is configured properly for whatever method you're using for bib assignment or check-in. Make sure that you're doing whatever you can to speed up that process while still getting good data. So that means using QR codes. That means enabling linked registrations. Make sure that if you are looking to offer RaceDay, that you're certified, that the course is all set up and ready to go, and that if you are using the bib and chip integration with it, that your RaceDay scoring is set up and ready to go. Make sure that you have your photos and your logos ready. Make sure that your result page is going to look the way you want it to, meaning that if you're going to do certificates, you have those configured and all pretty. And then if you're doing other functions with the RaceDay check-in, that you're prepared for all of this and that you kind of have a script for everything. So another note before we kind of open the floor up, we are doing another one of these webinars if you want to hear it again, but with less timer-oriented stats, or if you have a race director that's new to putting on turkey trots, or this is their first year with RunSignup, or this is their first year using the check-in app. We're doing another one of these webinars this Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So please invite them to come. And same as with the Timer Tip Tuesday here. If they register to attend but aren't able to make it, we'll send them the slides and a recording as well. But just make sure that they have the opportunity to get these resources in their hands. And then one other mention here, the 2026 Timer Education Summit will be January 27th and 28th in Tampa, Florida. We have a couple different educational tracks, introductory with the timer certifications, and a more advanced track. We'll have AI workshops, technology demos, and one-on-one training. We'll have a morning run and live tech demonstration, along with some timer collaboration and networking. Last year we did sell out. We've added more spots this year, but we are kind of on track to be in the same situation. So don't hesitate on that if you're starting to look ahead to early 2026 there. And with that all said, are there any questions on the back end?
Nothing yet, Soren.
All right. Well, if it's not your first year timing, it's probably not your first year with turkey trots. But if nothing else, consider this a good reminder and refresher. Go back through all of those spaces, make sure that's set up. Turkey trots, especially if they're one of your bigger races of the year, these are really good opportunities to do something maybe a little bit new, like the mobile timing photos or RaceDay, and use those stats as you have your end of the year conversations with race directors and say, hey, I set this up at a turkey trot and we took this many photos, or hey, we offered RaceDay at a turkey trot and we had this many spectators and this is what it looks like. Use this as an opportunity, because these are really generally well-branded events and have good production and are just kind of like the epitome of like fun in the racing world. Use these as your example as you're going into your winter months and reaching out to race directors, renewing contracts, renewing agreements, and reaching out to people at conferences for 2026. Have this in the pocket. All right. I know that's a lot of information to digest, but as we mentioned, you'll get a copy of these slides and this recording. If you have specific questions, if you need a little bit more in-depth training on anything, we do have really good support resources. So info@runsignup.com. If it's for the apps, RaceDay@runsignup.com. If it's about RaceDay scoring, you can also book one-on-one trainings. And that might be a good way if you have a new organization who's a little leery about dynamic check-in to kind of get them over that finish line and get them where they need to be comfortable and set up for you. So don't hesitate to make use of those resources. If that's it, hopefully talk to you again soon at another Timer Tip Tuesday or at the Timer Summit in January. Bye, everybody.